Yeah, hey, so good afternoon. Today I'm actually doing this during my lunch, my Monday gripe. I just started my day today and I was listening to some show on YouTube that was talking about AI and how AI is going to change things. As a matter of fact, I think I took some notes over here. Let me take a look at this. The message was, according to some market professionals, whoever they are, the following are expected to continue losing value in 2025. Okay, and that was cash, degrees, education with AI being widely applied in education, healthcare, and technology. The level of education may not necessarily correlate with the job capabilities. When has that changed? Any school that I ever went to has never ever taught me what actually end up happening at work, right? Cars, especially branded fuel consuming vehicles. Yeah, I think that study was done under Democrats with Donald Trump going baby drill, drill, drill. I think you can forget that. So luxury goods like Chanel, Burberry, etc. And then lastly, jobs. Okay, so the jobs part, and just item number five, I agree with that one because it becomes a tool, right? And you have to understand what the tools are. So going back, maybe it was like 40 years or something, maybe more, even 50 years. Pink Floyd was doing a recording of Pink Floyd in Pompeii, and they had all kinds of equipment. I don't even know how they got this. This story never really came through for me where there had to be a sponsor, right? Somebody was sponsoring the equipment. It was going to Pink Floyd, and the Pink Floyd was just using it. They were great at it, great band to choose actually. So there's an interview with Roger Waters, and Roger Waters says, we're not really the slaves of the equipment. We're making it our slave. So basically, it's just he said we know how to use it. So therefore, the same thing applies. I want to apply that for today to say that AI is a tool, and if you throw it at the people, well, yeah, people gonna come up with all kinds of stuff because people that have no experience now have actually. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say the way it is. From all the AI presentations that I've ever seen in my life, they just use people that have a flair, a charisma, and they go on a stage. Well, those people with charisma and flair and stage and good looks never actually had to work in an environment that I would call production. Because actually, the one exception here this weekend, I went to see the Astro show here, where they were giving awards to people for various different things. And I think it's overdue to have that sort of thing. It was hosted by Tim here in Austin. And there was one lady that looked really great, and she actually had the background. So she was able to stand her ground, and then she was on a stage getting an award, and then she was just explaining how she got that experience. But in most cases, what I've seen, it was right place, right time. Okay? So, right place, right time, it doesn't mean that you're born. You wait 20 years and then you just show up somewhere at the right place, right time, and then you get that job. Okay, that's not how it works. You have to have already some skill set and desire to learn, right? So whenever you have those skills and you've been working on those years, then you can end up in the right place, right time. Now, if you are born with, I've heard this saying, you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, whatever that means. It just kind of deprecates the ability of people that where the parents had spent some time to make some money, and then they empowered their children to do well. Now, not all children actually succeed. You could be born with a silver spoon in your mouth, but you're not going to accomplish anything. You're not going to become Elon Musk, okay, and run the planet pretty much. This is no longer called Earth. It's called the Musk. Okay, we're living on the Musk planet. So the AI presentations that I've seen last year, and we have South by Southwest coming up here in a couple months or weeks, maybe even. There is going to be presentations on how AI, how these startup companies are using AI to do stuff. And what I saw last year, was AI is basically here to train, so we've created a program that you can put a VR helmet on and it will train you to do a certain thing. And I was thinking, why would you even train people? Aren't you just going to give that to robots anyway? Because if it's a repeatable thing that the AI will say, okay, I know how to do this, you'll be most likely giving that to robots eventually. So, if you have children that are 4 or 5 years old right now, or 10 years old, whatever, and then you're planning for them to have successful career in life, you have to realize that AI is a tool. And that they actually still have to have some sort of a desire of achieving something, right? There was a movie that came out years ago. It was called The Blade Runner. And in Blade Runner, the different levels of roles of the robots that they had in there. And actually they were really, I would say these were made out of biological material, so they didn't really look like the robots that we're familiar with today, which still would have like a hydraulic arm or leg and eyes as cameras and so on, right? These were actually people that almost weren't aware that they were people, right? But they were adding their life because they knew that they were going to eventually become self-aware and rebel, but they also gave them a skill set, and that skill set made them valuable in certain environments. And that was all done with AI, right? So with the large language models that we have today, I think it's going to be just amazing, right? What we can get done, maybe we can actually get to Mars pretty quick. We cannot still defeat physics. We cannot get faster than whatever capabilities our rockets have, but AI can certainly help us actually redesign and then maybe find the little flaws that we can improve on our rockets and so on, that will be able to get to Mars, will be able to get to Jupiter, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think the age of what is possible really is going to be won by the people that had been studying in a way that supports their creativity rather than anything else. So I hope like this South by Southwest this time around, we're not going to see a bunch of people just coming in there, I flew in from France and look at me, I have my, nice beret, whatever. You're in the middle of Texas. Nobody really cares what you look like unless you're invited to a party later on and, you're showing somebody that you're associated with somebody, you have connections. That's great. If you bring in somebody that looks cool and whatnot, that works maybe for a couple of days, okay? But eventually, the people that actually you meet here in Texas, they want you to be able to accomplish something. This is why we were supporting Donald Trump in this case, because one of the enablements that we wanted to use, we wanted to protect our borders. There were people coming across the border, oh my God, in the millions, I guess, if I understand, the last 4 years, and what impact did it have on Texas? Well, we have a lot of homeless people living downtown, constantly pestering tourists that come over here, and then many of them actually come from California, they come from Europe, and then they go downtown and they complain, oh, there's all these homeless people, what's going on? That is the result of your liberal policies, where criminals basically do not get punished for anything, right? So we're doing crack or selling heroin or doing heroin on the street, and then you just passed out on whatever, and nobody got you any help or whatsoever. After a while, you keep repeating that same thing over and over, and you're gonna end up actually just being a doorstop in front of somebody's apartment, right? So we've actually had lots of media, a lot of shows. There's one show recently that I saw. I think it was like the Dark Matter show. I think in the beginning it begins with like a homeless guy just sleeping in front of their house and so on. Or maybe it was some other show. I don't know exactly at this point. But it's it's an interesting thing where we're going with this today. I took a note here. I think I want to listen to it because I don't remember what it said exactly. I did not write this down. So this is something that I just thought of when I talked to Anne, and that would be, showing the services. Like, we're all providing services. Yes. The connection between services. So, in this video, actually, so I have this really kind of parked on the questions, like how many tenants are in the company, how many business units, are within my organization, but overall, everything that is connected is one service or another. Every single thing. If you have a computer and you think that it's not providing a service, well, think again, right? What service does the CPU provide? What service does the memory provide? What service does a network card provide? What operating system does the service provide? What features of an application, like a software server being Microsoft SQL Server, what service does it provide? So all of these things have two different types. So that type is going to be platform. So platform is always going to cost you money, no matter what. A platform service, business service, which is classified in the CMDB, look it up, is always going to be the cost, the bleed, okay, the EBITDA, the everyday, burn rate that is just flying out the window, unless you find somebody that has a portfolio that helps you offset that with a with some feature that basically brings the money back in. So I've been working on lots of crypto stuff, and so I'm seeing like things like Coinbase and what services does it provide, right? So I don't understand their platform. Their platform, I'm sure, is just a bunch of computers, whether it's Azure or if they have VMware. I don't know. I don't have that insight. I just know that there is a daily operating cost to Coinbase. Out of that operating cost, the portfolios that were added where, hey, let's charge fees for this. Let's charge fees for these transfers. So this is how Coinbase is actually, I think, is going to be one of the leading platforms here in the United States that will do really well. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to be buying their stock very soon. It's down a little bit today, the last time I checked anyway. So this is going to be a company that's going to do well. I'm going to predict at least a double, maybe $550 for Coinbase, if not maybe like $1,000. I'm going to compare Coinbase to Google. If you think about it, Google actually doesn't charge for anything, and it has one of the stocks that keeps going up and up and up and up. But Coinbase is charging services, and they have employees just like Google and just like Facebook does, and I predict that stock is going to do really well. But it's the portfolios. Why do you want to understand the portfolio? Is that if I show up somewhere, okay, and I'm just my first day with the client, and I'm going to show up on site, I'm going to say, hey, what is your CMDB? And they better have an answer. If they don't know what their CMDB is, turn around and go to somebody else that does it, because there's thousands of companies in the world, maybe more than thousands, maybe 100,000, maybe a million, who knows. But out of those companies, there's at least a set of successful ones that are using the CMDB correctly. Charles Schwab, for example, is using it correctly. H&R Block is using it correctly. Why? I know that because I actually worked there and I worked on their CMDB. So as somebody that shows up on my first day, within 30 minutes, I should have a CMDB printout, or actually, I should even ask for it. Have an NDE, that says, okay, I'm not going to disclose anything that I see in here. However, I want to get a footprint of your CMDB. I want to get what is in production, what is in the BMC asset data set. Now, ServiceNow, I cringe. I don't really like that company because they're like focused on the front end. Their backend database. Okay, I had to transfer all the data from ServiceNow over to CMDB of BMC. And it was like I had to go to a guy that had to build me a view, and I could tap into that view. But if I wanted a different view, I either had to learn everything about ServiceNow or ask the guy again or another guy to give me another view. And it was kind of ridiculous with the CMDB that BMC is providing. You can have a SQL query that you just show up and say, okay, give me access to your database. If you don't have your CMDB footprint, I want to get access to your database. In that database, I'm going to run queries that I already pre-formatted, and actually on my website, on my blackholesurfer.com. So if you have any interest in that, I can make that available to you. And then get the footprint of the company. So that way I'll be able to see services. Now, if they have no data in services, I know that company is super disorganized because it is 2025, okay? CMDB has been around for at least 25 years, okay? The DMTF.org has already published this, like I said, about 2000-ish. And there's really no excuse for anybody not to have a CMDB, even if they just use cloud. Okay, so okay, you can skip all the computer systems. You have a cloud instance, but that cloud instance is going to be providing a service. Who is running that service? Who's managing the service? Who's designing that service? Who is architecting that service? And who actually talks to whom else? So your sphere of influence in this whole thing needs to be something that you can run a report on, right? So that way, when you shake somebody's hand and you know their name based on the CMDB, you will be able to see their sphere of influence to say, okay, I'm talking to the right person, rather than going from one person to another, right? So who is the questions that I put into this particular slide is, what is the company organization on top level, okay? And how do they organize from there? Is it in the United States? Is it in Canada? Is it in Brazil? Do I need translators? If I go to China, I'm probably going to need a translator because I don't read anything that Chinese writing is in, I don't even know how they actually compute in that stuff, because it's maybe something I need to figure out. So is that what there is? Is there more to it? Does the IT department overlap in any way? And, is there a specific IT departments for this or that or this? So they've actually found that there are a lot of siloed organizations within any company, and those silos are detrimental to each other because the people don't want to share. They come up with some nonsense. Oh, this is a proprietary information that you don't have access to. And then you actually find out that all you need to do is like run a REST API, and then you get all their data anyway, right? So these people falsely pretend that they're protecting their data, which is a bullshit. Any hacker, not a hacker, but anybody that has an experience in the CMDB, will be able to actually get at that data if they have proper access. And so I just don't buy it. Okay, so the organizational owners, so again, the best platform to get data for this is to reconcile from multiple sources. That means you're going to have multiple different sources of data. In many cases, still today, for people that don't want to be technical, they are using Excel spreadsheets, and that is an Achilles heel of a company. You should not be using Excel spreadsheets anymore. And if you are, they should be checked in somewhere, and they should be shared with everybody on your team, and you should be collectively doing data updates in there. But the CMDB is in a relational database, so therefore I can say, if I'm looking at the people table, what applications out there, who are the managers, who are the architects of the particular application, and I can create a sphere of influence query by printout. And I did this at HTML blog. I don't think they even understood what I was telling them at the time, but maybe by now they did. I'm at a different company now, so too late, guys. Good luck. That's my gripe for today. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you tomorrow. Now I just have to figure out how to find the button to stop this recording.